Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Hillary. Right here with me, I have Elizabeth. We are going to talk about emotional eating. So, big topic, pretty excited. We haven't talked about this before. Elizabeth, tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we'll jump into why you know so much about emotional eating and some tips you can tell us, and we'll just jump right into it.
Yes, thank you so much, Dr. Hillary. It's a pleasure to be here and with you, talking about a topic that is again not only near and dear to my heart, but just out there rampant. So, getting to the root cause, as I like to say, of emotional eating. My background really, so I've only been into health coaching. So I'm a certified functional medicine health coach and a national board certified health and wellness coach. I've only been in this industry as a coach for about 2.5 years. Prior to that, I've been in corporate, in apparel corporate, so apparel manufacturing corporations, and have had my own bout with burnout. So a lot of times I'll be up, 6 a.m. starting work, 7 p.m. still working. So it was an industry of for me that caused burnout and actually caused my own health issues. So I kind of strayed away from that, got really, I'm not going to go into the long detail of my, time that I got into health coaching, but I will say that corporate wellness has been and will always be in my heart, only because of not only what I'm going through, but what I see a lot of employees and a lot of companies really kind of struggling with retention, with engagement, with just everything in general right now. So that is where I come in today. So I do have several things going on my own, but I'm also a lead wellness coach for a corporate wellness company. So that's where I'm at today, and would love to talk more about emotional eating. I don't know if you wanted me just to go into more of it, or if you have
Yeah.
questions.
Well, we are just saying how many aspects of emotional eating where it could be more stress or what you had mentioned, more of a celebratory. And it's like, oh, we don't often think about how the celebrations cause us to eat a lot differently. And I guess that is still categorized as emotional eating. However, a lot of us think more negatively about emotional eating, like stress or sad or a death of a family member or something like that. But I was like, oh, that's a great topic. So take it away.
Yes, yes, and you know what? Exactly that. Not everybody thinks about the happy side of emotional eating, right? It's emotions in general. Whatever emotions is coming up, a lot of times we put food right next to our emotions. We put like what we're feeling, and then I'm not going to get really scientific in this, but our minds trigger into eating either sweets, sugars, salty foods. Especially for stress, you want that sweet and salty stuff. But for celebratory, and it could also be cultural as well. Cultural. There's certain foods that fit in a culture and certain celebratory ways that today is Valentine's Day. So what do? We eat candy. We eat, dark chocolate is, first of all, I'm going to go on a rant here. Dark chocolate is amazing. So people think that all or all chocolate is the same. It's not. So hear me out. Dark chocolate, please. Eat 70%, cacao and more. And actually, that is more beneficial for you. So you are welcome to eat dark
Yeah.
chocolate today.
Good
Um,
antioxidants too.
exactly. Yes. Antioxidants, mood enhancing. So if you want to, like happier mood, we talk about emotional eating. Yes, dark chocolate can go into that, but that's the benefit of it. The other things that we tend to go towards, ice creams, cakes, and it's mostly sugar related. I
Mhm.
have to say, a lot of it has the sugar induced feelings of, I'm gorging on this thing that just makes me feel so good in the moment. And then we pay for the price either right after or a few days after, and not knowing that that's what it is, the brain fog, the weight gain, that it can't sleep, alcohol can be played in that too. So it's not just eating, but it's also drinking as well. So overall, whatever emotion that we're going through, one tip, if I can give a tip really
Yes,
quick,
yeah.
stop. Stop meaning being mindful. Like, and it's easier said than done, I know. But when you get into more of a like thinking, being mindful of what this is doing for you and your health, you can have maybe a bite, but not gorge into it. You know what I'm saying? Like have like portions. Uh, and then, because I don't want to say if you're celebrating, not to enjoy yourself, that's just not the way to live life. But just know that there's ways to enjoy, but not having to go overboard. And the way to do that is just being mindful of how that food is going to treat you, not just, that time, that moment, but how it's going to treat you and your body the next, hours or even days, because it could spiral.
Yeah.
So just kind of, like I say, stop, kind of, think, and then maybe be mindful of what you're eating and how you're eating it.
Yeah, almost like planning out, like if it is a celebratory, right? Or conversely, if you know it's going to be a stressful week ahead in your mind, knowing like I'm going to stop, but I will try this or that, and then, or I'll go out with the coworkers, but I'm not going to drink 4 drinks. I'm going to have one and some seltzer water, like pre-planning it, right? Did that seem like a good tip that you tell your
Oh,
clients?
yes.
Yeah.
Right on, Hillary. Right on. It's actually something that I do a lot. If I know, first off, if I know the restaurant that I'm going to, I'm one of those that will look at the menu and plan out what I'm going to get. Same with, again, spot on with the drinks, because there are times when we don't come in with a plan of action. It's like that saying, what is it? Fail to plan, plan to fail. And so when you go in and exactly that, I'm going to have, like, say, a wine and then some seltzer water or some, like last night, I met up with some lady friends, I think we all know here. And I had San Pellegrino in a wine glass.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's more or less like understanding you have the choice and you have control of what you drink and eat, and not having the food or the meals or the drinks having control over you. So
Mm-hmm.
that plan sets you up for success. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like you're saying fail to plan.
Plan to fail. I know. I had to think about it too. It's like
Like, let me
I'm
not mess
like,
this
no, it's
up.
fail.
I
So
liked it.
if you fail to plan, you're going to plan to fail. So
Yes,
yes,
I like that. I
yeah,
will think about that.
yeah.
Um, what about tips for when it's unexpected emotional eating, like a death in the family or something, intense like that?
You know, I will say we all don't have this 100% self-regulation. And again, I'm not here to say when something like that happens that you should be shamed or you're doing the wrong thing. That's not, again, that's not the way that we are as human beings and go through life.
Mhm.
all I all I would say is caution, yes, if there's a death in the family and it's like, forget this, I don't even like, I'm either angry, sad, going through the grieving process. And a part of this has to do with I don't care right now in this moment. So I'm just going to have X, Y, and Z, whatever that is, that comfort food. But also realizing that, okay, I had it at this one meal. How could I then move on going forward? Instead
Mhm.
of making that one meal being 2, 3, 4, a week, a month, a year, and then going and saying, well, it's all because of this trauma that happened. um, again, that one time is okay, but it's understanding that you yourself have to be healthy in order to carry on your life. So what does that look like? And then just picking up from that one time and then just moving towards a healthier options or healthier choices.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Like, I'm sure you hear this and I hear this and used to think it like, well, I've already ruined the day with this meal. I might as well just keep going, right? But instead of perhaps ruining the day, like, right, that was a bad meal and bad choices. So the next meal, I'm going to choose wiser, right?
Yeah. I mean, we all have, bad days, right? We all have bad days, and I included. I have just as many bad days as everybody else. And it's what it is, it's just the reframing of the mindset of, yes, this is a bad day or this is a bad meal, bad, and I'm, air quotes. But it doesn't mean that this has to be for the rest of our lives, or it doesn't mean that I have to go down that spiral.
Mm-hmm.
It just means it's just one thing, and I have an opportunity to turn it around.
Mm-hmm.
So it's that mindset shift that we need to also have is, we're not doomed to failure. If we do something that's out of, that's not working for us in terms of our health and wellness,
Mm-hmm.
we have that opportunity to pick up, to do a little bit better, and maybe reach out for some support, maybe reach out for some accountability if you're not able to do it yourself.
Mm-hmm. I love it. Yeah. What other good tips can you give us that you use with your clients about eating and during emotional times?
Um, this goes again towards mindful eating. Um, it's it's also not what we eat, and this is a personal story of my own as well. It's not just what, because I was thinking that I'm eating healthy, but I was not digesting the food, and it was because of my own stress that I was eating in a hurry. I wasn't digesting properly, so that's not really. I think it's categorized as emotional eating. You're still eating healthy, but you're emotionally eating it. I'm sitting in in front of a computer, stressed out about something, and I'm not even. I'm shoveling my food in a
Mm-hmm.
salad. I'm shoveling a salad in all the nutrients, all the protein, all the good stuff. But because my body is not able to break down the foods properly, I was not getting the good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So another tip that I give, and that I actually received from a functional medicine doctor, is that if you can sit and eat without distraction, if you can, and if you can't, but still, either way, and this is going to sound a little crazy, but stay with me here. Stare at your food a little bit. Look at what you have. Be grateful of what you have in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
That gratitude. And then even further, pick it up. You can, I mean, if you're alone, do this. But if you're out with people, might look a little weird. Sniff it and then just take a little bite and then just chew it and really enjoy the food in front of you. And what that ends up happening is you get full faster because your brain has time to tell your stomach you're ingesting some nutrients and foods, and your stomach is having that ability to take that in and get full faster.
I like it. Almost like setting intentions, good intentions and good energy to your food. I
Exactly.
also thought I will start eating alone, so I'll tell my kids they have to eat somewhere else that
There you
way.
go. There you go. And it takes it, and it's interesting because we always look back to what it used to be in our families, right? We sat down at a dinner table and we ate a meal. Now, I mean, when I grew up, it was in front of the TV on a tray. So I didn't get the joys of having a dinner table with a meal and family. But even then, you're still talking, you're still distracted, but you're also, I mean, like Thanksgiving, you're thankful of having this meal in front of you, and you're eating slowly, and you're eating with other families, and it's enjoyment versus stuff in your face and, being crazy and drink, all of that stuff. So it's just, yeah, it's being in the moment with your food.
I love it. I think that is great because we don't talk about that. And so thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah.
In the last minute or so, can you talk about your podcast and how other people could find your podcast and find your information?
Yes, I will. So just a quick story. I actually created this podcast in the pandemic. Everybody, has their own story of either, how it affected them. It's called The Root of Our Health. And at the time I was going through my certification as a functional medicine health coach. And what I wanted to do was give my voice, and when I'm learning, not only in my own health journey, in terms of stress, overwhelm, burnout, all of that, and how it affected me in my, my health, but also giving, just any other form of alternative health and wellness for women over 40. That is what the podcast is about. And is usually for anybody can listen to the episodes, but it is, the focus is on, women over 40, whatever we're going through, and how we can lean on health and wellness in our own lives in a better manner than, what's out there right now. Education, purpose only. There's no scientific, medical advice being, put on there. But yeah, so if you want to listen to the podcast, again, it is called The Root of Our Health, and it is on iTunes, Spotify, and Stitcher, and I believe that's it, but you can search it and find what's out there. And if you want to get in touch with me, I am working on my website and launching in the next few months. It's taking longer than wanting, but you can always email me at Elizabeth@healthyachieveher. That's achieveher.com.
That's cute. I like it. Achieve
Yeah,
her.
exactly. Mm-hmm.
Aw. Thank you so much for being on and giving us these wonderful tips of things we don't often think about. I think it's like great reminders, and really appreciate you taking your time.
Well, thank you again, Hillary, for having me on here. It's great.